Justin Bieber's love life has always been under the microscope, but lately the spotlight has shifted in a surprising direction. The whispers aren't just about his marriage anymore, they're about another bond that's taken the center stage. Some fans say it's nothing but friendship. Others insist it's something much deeper. And the person at the heart of all this noise? A young Australian musician named Eddie Benjamin. It started with a few moments that caught people off guard. At Coachella, Justin was spotted glued to Eddie's side, laughing, leaning in, even looking more affectionate than usual. Hailey Bieber, watching from the sidelines, didn't look amused. That one sighting was enough to set the internet ablaze because Eddie isn't just a casual acquaintance. He's become one of Justin's most trusted confidants, and their closeness is stirring up more questions than answers. But who exactly is Eddie Benjamin? To most people, he seemed to appear out of nowhere, the mysterious friend always lurking just behind Justin. The truth is, Eddie's story starts far away in Australia. Born into a creative household, his mom a dancer, his dad a drummer, music was practically stitched into his DNA. By the time he was 14, he was already performing at Sydney clubs, grinding it out as a freelance musician. He even pulled together a small band with his classmates, showing early signs of the drive that would eventually carry him across the world. The next chapter of Eddie's life was stranger. When he moved to Los Angeles, he didn't just land in the middle of Hollywood, he landed in Sia's house. Yes, that's Sia, the pop superstar with the giant wigs and reclusive persona. Eddie was dating Maddie Ziegler at the time, the young dancer Sia had taken under her wing. And through that relationship, Eddie found himself absorbed into Sia's inner circle. She wasn't shy about her attachment. She called Eddie her pixie son, promised to protect him from shady industry deals, and described him as if he were her own family. Some fans thought it was sweet. Others thought it was unsettling. The idea of an older star bringing young artists into her home left many online wondering where the line between mentorship and something more controlling really was. Still, Eddie flourished. He played, he wrote, he soaked up wisdom from everyone around him. And then fate dropped him into Justin Bieber's orbit. In 2022, Eddie scored an opening spot on Bieber's Justice Tour, and that's when everything shifted. What started as a professional opportunity turned into something far more personal. The two connected instantly, not just as artists, but as people who seemed to understand each other on a deeper level. It wasn't long before the friendship morphed into constant late-night studio sessions, marathon hangouts, and a kind of synergy that fans compared to Justin's relationship with producer Benny Blanco. That bond carried right into Justin's next album. Eddie didn't just contribute, he became central to the entire project, co-writing more than half the songs. 11 tracks out of 21 carried Eddie's fingerprints, sparking debates online about whether he was the true creative force behind the record. Some listeners joked that Justin had been asleep in the studio while Eddie did the heavy lifting. Others defended the collaboration, pointing out that creative partnerships like this often blur lines between who's the star and who's the shadow. Either way, Eddie's role couldn't be ignored, and Justin wasn't hiding his appreciation. On social media, he poured out heartfelt tributes, calling Eddie his true friend, praising his artistry, and thanking him for helping create what he called his favorite musical experience. The words were glowing, affectionate, almost poetic. Fans noticed that these posts for Eddie felt warmer, more personal, than the ones Justin often shared about his wife. That comparison wasn't lost on anyone, especially after reports from an exclusive Coachella after-party spread online. According to one eyewitness, Justin was hardcore cuddling Eddie right in front of Hailey, who looked visibly uncomfortable. The account was retold on a podcast, and it only poured gasoline on the rumor fire. From there, the speculation spiraled. Anonymous blind items started circulating about two high-profile male artists caught on video at a private party, looking far more affectionate than collaborators usually do. No names were mentioned, but the internet filled in the blanks instantly. Fans began connecting dots between the late-night studio retreats, the private dinners, and the quiet, tucked-away nights where the only proof came from whispers of people in the room. To them, the story was writing itself. Haley's behavior didn't calm things down either. At one point, she liked and then quickly unliked a cryptic post that read, "When they choose someone else's company over yours, believe them." Screenshots spread instantly, and speculation about cracks in the marriage only grew louder. Defenders of Justin and Eddie's friendship argued that it was all being blown out of proportion, that what people were seeing was nothing more than a rare creative connection between two artists. They described it as energy, not romance, the kind of bond that doesn't need labels. But fans pushed back, pointing to the body language, the constant proximity, and the sheer amount of time Justin seemed to be spending with Eddie instead of Haley. Then came the whispers about Eddie's unique condition, synesthesia, a neurological trait where senses overlap. For him, sound could trigger colors, shapes, or even feelings. Some fans called it a secret superpower, the thing that made him such a remarkable songwriter. Justin himself gushed in interviews about Eddie's ears, calling his sense of music one of the most special gifts he had ever witnessed. The way he spoke wasn't just admiration, it sounded almost reverent, like he saw Eddie as larger than life. By this point, the line between creative partnership and personal entanglement had blurred beyond recognition. The pair were reportedly working on another batch of songs together, this time in total secrecy, holed up in Eddie's studio without outside producers or label interference. To some, that was proof of a musical partnership that could define Justin's next era. To others, it was another excuse for Justin and Eddie to stay wrapped up in each other's world, away from the cameras but never far from curious eyes. And so the question lingers. Are Justin and Eddie just inseparable collaborators who found rare harmony in both music and life? Or is this one of those Hollywood stories where friendship is just the public-facing explanation for something more? Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. Eddie Benjamin isn't going anywhere. His influence on Justin's music is undeniable. His presence in Justin's personal life impossible to ignore. If this bond ever fractured, the fallout would be explosive. The kind of split that wouldn't just trend for a day, but dominate headlines for weeks. For now, all we can do is watch the story unfold. Is this the bromance of the century? A creative partnership that's redefining Justin's sound? Or is it a hidden love story simmering just beneath the surface? Either way, the internet is locked in and the whispers aren't dying down anytime soon.